So here's the question. The question is, a wheel with radius 20 centimeters has its center 30 centimeters above the ground. It rotates once every 15 seconds. Determine the equation for the height h above the ground of a point on the wheel at time t seconds if this point has a maximum height at t equals 2 seconds. So here, it's the sine and the cosine wave, so sinusoidal wave. The best thing to do right now is to draw this information on a graph, and then we'll look at the graph and we'll see if we're going to go with a cosine equation or a sine one. But let's just throw it out and see. So here we go. So the first thing, I think we got to start labeling stuff. So so the center line or the center equals 30. So that's basically your vertical displacement. So that's VD, that's vertical displacement. Amplitude is the same as, or let's say the radius. The radius equals 20, and that's your amplitude. And then they say it rotates once every 15 seconds. So basically they're telling you the period equals 15 seconds. That's what they're saying. Okay, so let's put this stuff on the graph right here. So I think it'll be a good idea to draw my center line, which is at 30. So my center line is right there. And so now at t equals 2 seconds, it has its maximum point. So my center line is at 30 centimeters and the radius is 20. So it's going to be 20 above 30 and 20 below 30 for the radius. And it's at 2 seconds. So 2 is right here. I'm going to have my maximum, which is going to be at 50. And since the period is 15, then at 17 seconds, you should get the maximum again, which is right here, because that's when you finish a full rotation. Now, right between these 2 points, right in the middle, you should have your minimum, because the wave is usually doing this. So you have a maximum, and then a minimum. And that's basically talking about cosine wave. Now, I'm just going to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So I got to come back 7.5 to draw where my minimum is going to be. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.5. So my minimum should be right here, and it should be sitting right there. So now also I should label my points right on the vertical line, but because I'm dealing with decimals, it doesn't really matter. So you kind of just eyeball it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.5. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So somewhere around here and somewhere. So it doesn't have to be accurate. Honestly, you don't have to draw these accurately, because then you'll have to find out exactly what the decimal it is. But if we have something like this right here, then we could now find out what the equation of the cosine graph is. So the equation of the cosine graph, and I said cosine because you know what? Since the graph started right here and started at a maximum, then it's better to use a cosine function. So y would equal the amplitude, which is 20, and it's going to be positive 20 since we started at a maximum, cos of course, you know, here it's b. If you know the equation, that's y equals a cos bx minus c plus d, where a is the amplitude, c is the phase shift, d is the vertical displacement, and b is, to find the period, we need b, so the period would be 2 pi over b when we're finding the period of a sine or a cosine. Now, let's just go in here and you know what? Since this is about height and all of that and time, so let's just plug in. We know this is my height right here. And this is the x-axis is time. So h of t basically equals. Now the time, since your graph has shifted 2 to the right, then you should write t minus 2 here, because that's shifting to the right 2. And then plus the vertical displacement, and this is your vertical displacement. This is the center line right here, and it's 30. Now, since I told you the period equals 2 pi over b here, then b would equal 2 pi over the period. That's just cross multiplying kind of thing. The b and the period goes there to solve for b, because here we need to solve for b to write what b is in this equation right here. So this will be 2 pi over, and the period, it takes 15 seconds for full rotation, so it's going to be 2 pi over 15, and that's what you should write here, 2 pi over 15 for b. And that's basically how you find the equation of this question right here. Somebody just sent me this today. They had a hard time because it shifted to the right. Usually with Ferris wheels and stuff like that, we start right on the y-axis, and just because it shifted to the right, I think that's where the student had problems finding the equation. But that's basically what you do. It's just always draw it out to see what everything is. Now you see your starting point is right here, and you know your end point is right there. And from that, you know that this graph has shifted to the right since it started at 2 seconds having a maximum point. As always, thank you for watching again. Till next time, bye-bye.